All right, good afternoon. This is for grade 3 students. If you're a grade 2 student and you want to listen along, that's fine. Um, Grade 3 students, we're talking about. Maybe I need a pen, and I'll make it that color. We're talking about measurement. Okay, and there's all sorts of things that we can measure. And we talked about the bake sale, and you could measure something by how much. Ooh, that was bad. You could measure something by how much it cost. You could measure the time here from 1:30 in the afternoon to 3 o'clock, and you just see how happy a bake sale makes these students. And it's always a good idea to put a mustache on students. There we go. So we've practiced calendars, clocks, time, how we tell time, how we write time, and now we're going to talk about this thermometer to measure temperature. Oops. So we've done the analog clock, the digital clock, the elapsed time, and now we will go to measuring temperature. All right, so first of all, the key words are tricky to say: thermometer and temperature. So I told you that the human body has a constant temperature. It is 37 degrees Celsius. Now, when I was a kid, my mother would measure using degrees Fahrenheit. So it was called degrees Fahrenheit. And the body temperature for that is 98 point, oops, 0.6. And so Mr. V did a bad thing, and I would take the thermometer, and my mom would leave my room for a little bit, and then I'd take the thermometer and put it by the light bulb beside my bed that I used for reading, and my temperature would go way up. And so my mom would see my thermometer, and my temperature would be way, way too high, and she'd say, "Oh, dear Edward, oh, you must stay home from school today. Stay in bed. I will make you soup." And yeah, that was a terrible thing to do. So parents, just be aware of that. The thermometer is what measures the temperature. My line is a bit too thick, so let's go to that. So the thermometer measures the temperature, and the temperature is what's being measured. Okay, so your human body should be at 37 degrees Celsius. If it is at 38 or 39 degrees Celsius, that means your body, your immune system is fighting something. So that just means you're not feeling well. All right, so let's get on with this. Let's start here. The thermometer at the right shows a temperature of 19 degrees Celsius. So right away, we know it's not a human being, because if it was a human being, we would expect a number around there. So this is not a human being, but what it is what the temperature might be like outside. That would be perfect weather for a jumbo recess, as long as it's not raining. You say 19 degrees Celsius. You don't say 19, tiny little zero, capital C, period. No, 19 degrees Celsius. Repeat after me, 19 degrees Celsius. One more time, 19 degrees Celsius. Okay, very good, boys, girls. Let's explore. Oh, here's the thing. We don't have a thermometer because this is a virtual classroom. If you do have one at home, then you can put it in, you can do this activity. If you put the thermometer in the window, the sun provides heat. So the temperature is going to go up. Okay, so I'm just gonna, okay, that's because the sun is hot. So if you put the thermometer right here, then it'll go up a little bit, depending on how hot it is outside. If you put it in a cabinet, then we get something called room temperature. Okay, so that if you have an open cabinet, you put a thermometer in there, you're going to get the room's temperature. And we human beings like this temperature, around 20 degrees Celsius is perfect, because that means you can wear a t-shirt and you're still very comfortable. Okay, in here, I can't tell if it's outside or inside. If it's outside and it's cold, it could be like minus 15 degrees Celsius. But if it's hot out, 32, that's a really hot day, 32 degrees Celsius. So there's probably some little boy playing, and there he's shooting the ball, and there he is. And okay. Outside again. There's no snow, so I'm going to say it's not minus 15. I see a bicycle, so the person rode a bicycle, so I'm going to say it could be 12 degrees Celsius. Maybe it's 24 degrees Celsius, but it's warm enough for him to use a bicycle. Now, the great thing about Celsius is when you get ice cubes, 0 degrees Celsius is when water freezes. So if you have a bucket of ice, the minimum temperature is going to be 0 degrees Celsius. And if you put a thermometer in the bucket of ice, you're going to get a temperature probably in this range, because this is 0, and then this minus 10, minus 20. So this is actually below 0 degrees Celsius. Unfortunately, we will not be able to do our chart. We will not be able to do our color pictures of thermometers, although I might look for a file that gives you a color picture. Talk with your partner about the temperatures you recorded. Why are some temperatures the same? Room temperature, the temperature, if you put a thermometer in different parts of the room temperature stays the same. Why? What's the main reason that they're different? Is you take the temperature from outside and you can compare it to the temperature from inside, and most of the time it's going to be different. Okay. In a thermometer is a liquid called mercury, and it rises as the temperature goes up. That is, the atoms in the mercury, when there's more heat, they have more energy and they start pushing up the thermometer. And as it goes down, it has less energy. And so it's not moving around as much, and the temperature actually goes down. Here are, I like this word, benchmark. If you can remember the benchmarks, then that's the big thing about temperatures. The one big benchmark is this and this. Water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. Put on your winter coat, all right? Everyone thinks it's 0 degrees Celsius and it's sunny out, and they can just throw their winter coat onto the rocks and just run around like it's 20 degrees Celsius. Well, it's not. Keep your coats on, all right? Anyone I see next year, when it's 0 degrees Celsius and you're running around with your t-shirt, you're in big trouble. I'm not putting up with it anymore. I was just kidding there. Okay, water. When it boils, like if you have to make some macaroni and cheese, you have to boil the water first. Don't do this yourself. This is for parents. And so you boil the water, and then you put the pasta in, and you let it boil for, it's been a while since I've made Kraft dinner. I'm going to say 10 minutes. and then you drain the water out. You open up the cheese packet, you put a little bit of margarine in, you mess it around. It's delicious. Okay, so that's a benchmark. 100 degrees Celsius, that's boiling. Okay, now remember, this is Celsius. This is Celsius. All right, so it'll never be 100 degrees Celsius outside. Here, they're telling you, oh, look at that. A very hot day is 32 degrees Celsius. You can walk by the way. I'm not doing any videotaping. Temperature inside, 20 degrees Celsius. So you can see how happy this person is. Oh, that's not a unhappy face. That's a mustache. And then you can see this person. It's minus 20 out, so they're bundled up. Okay, so we've gone from the very hottest at 100 degrees Celsius, then we've cooled down to 32 degrees Celsius, which is very hot for a human being, but I kind of like a 32 degrees Celsius day once in a while. Then we have our room temperature, that's comfy, cozy, 20 degrees Celsius. And then here, where you have to bundle up, minus 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, so on here, if I put that's A, is this representative of A? Is that A? Is that A? Is that A? Is that A? And remember, it's 0, minus 10. So if you said this is A, then you're correct. Now, here's the 0. Let's call that section B. Does the B go with that picture, this picture, or this picture? Okay, 0 degrees Celsius. If you said here, then you are correct. Finally, now let's go up. The thermometer, this is what it's showing. You look at the top here, and it's showing this, 20 degrees Celsius. So I'll call that C. Is this C? Is this C? Or is this C? Well, this is where our C goes. All right. Finally, if it was a really hot day, the thermometer would go up to here. Okay, so it would fill in. That would not be black. It would be red. And then, well, let's call that D. And so D is up here. And then if you went all the way to the very top, like right up here, that's your boiling water. So let's call that E, and E goes there. Temperatures below 0 are written with a minus sign because it's, I'm going to tell you, boys, girls, about a whole new world. Okay? You've learned for years and years. You start at 0, and then you can skip count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Guess what? There are numbers on the other side. Oh! And it would go 0, minus 5, minus 10, minus 15, minus 20. And minus 20 is what this poor kid, like, really? We're not allowed to send you guys, oops. Oh no, runaway pen. We're not allowed to send you guys outside when it's minus 20, okay? You guys have to stay inside because you're precious. And even though Mr. V had to go outside for recess when it was minus 20, you guys are precious, so you don't go outside. Okay, again, how do we say this? We do not say minus 9 circle capital C. We say 9 degrees Celsius below 0. 9 degrees Celsius below zero. The Celsius is important because our friends in the United States, they're not very smart. They use something called Fahrenheit. We use Celsius, which is a proper scientific thing to do. So say minus 9 degrees Celsius. Or I say minus first. Or say 9 degrees Celsius below zero. You could say minus 9 degrees Celsius or 9 degrees Celsius below zero. Practice. Guys, I'm going to let you look at the questions first and try them. And then say, let's say you go and, you look at this and you don't understand it. So you know what you do. You go, Mr. V, I don't understand page 242, number 2, part C. And you just put that into a message, or you could put it on class story, doesn't matter to me. And I will give you a beautiful, beautiful answer. You'll probably maybe have a little tear roll down your cheek when you hear the answer, because you'll go, oh my, I thought Tale of Despereaux was good, but this math answer is even better. All right, so I'm going to stop now because I think I've been talking too long. All right, good job, boys and girls. Thank you for listening. And Mr. V signing out.